How much joy, love, and abundance are you willing to allow into your life? Life is divine, and so are we if we allow ourselves to be. I'm not talking here about material possessions and VIP services. That is not divine in itself. What I'm talking here is about our intrinsic divinity within our souls. This spark of life, this flame we all carry within our hearts. This is divine. We are divine. But to embody this divinity, it takes us to know ourselves in depth. Who are we really? This is why living divinely and spiritual growth are so interlinked. The more we know who we are, the more we let go of illusions of who we think we are and of this world that we live in, the more in contact we come with this intrinsic divinity we carry. The thing is, this is not something for us to simply talk about at a mental level. This is something for each and every one of us to find out, to experience, to reach, to reconnect to. And so we can embody it, and so we are, and there comes being divine. Being divine is something that has multiple facets, as I see. And I'm going to talk here about different facets that I do my best to embody in my life and in my work as a spiritual guide, as I work with my students and clients to remember, so they remember their own divinity and reconnect to themselves. The first point is, as I call, don't worry, be caring. Life is not something to worry about, it is something to care about. What do I mean by that? We live in a state of worry. We are anxious and nervous about things, what will go wrong. Worry is drawn from fear. We live in a state of fear. We all know that in a way, but sometimes we don't realize the smallest ways we are governed and led by fear in our everyday choices. Caring, on the other hand, is the path of love. It is the path of consciousness. And caring doesn't mean that everything will be perfect and fine. It means that because we care about things, because we're conscious of what can go wrong and happen, we take care of it from a place of love. There is nothing to fear when we are conscious, when we care. So we can do exactly the same thing, but from a different place. Instead of doing things out of fear, instead of being reactive, instead of worrying, we become conscious and aware because we care. Love is consciousness. Love is divine. The second point is goodness. Divinity is good. God is good. The universe is good. Goodness rules this universe, and we are good in our divine nature. The more we connect to ourselves, the more we connect to this goodness that is beyond us, this interpersonal will, universal will, divine will, and so we act in alignment from, again, a place of love and consciousness. Goodness is divine. The third point is disidentification, leading to self-mastery. Now that is a long name. What does this mean? You are not your body. You have a body. You are not your thoughts. You have thoughts. You are not your emotions. You have emotions. You are not your desires. You have desires. When I say this, this might sound obvious to some, but still we keep identifying ourselves with them as if we were the body, as if we were the emotions. And this leads to a series of reactions. We feel a bit tired, and so we don't feel like doing something that matters. We feel a bit anxious, and then we step back. We allow our bodies, thoughts, emotions, and desires to dictate how we live. We become a hostage of them. They own us because we think we're them. We behave as if we were them. The work is to disidentify ourselves with what we are not. And when we disidentify ourselves with them, what remains? What is it that remains? What are we then? How about will, love, and light? Now, this is not something to go deeper into here because it's not a dogma. It is, again, something to experience. The facet itself, the quality that we're talking here, is about understanding who we are and our faculties, because we do have a body, we do have emotions, we do have thoughts, and we have desires, and we can work with them, we can master them. When we disidentify ourselves from them, we create the ability to utilize them for what we want at a highest level of our being. This is what it is about. This is being divine. Freedom, liberation from our own chains that we have accepted to be us. Then we get to be ourselves and liberate ourselves and be divine. Now, the next topic, the next quality is creators and creatrix. We are the ultimate creators of our lives. This is a lot of power. And power comes from responsibility, with lots of responsibility, which means we are responsible and we have control and power over our thoughts, our actions, of our choices. We do so many choices every day. We make them. We are the creators. Everything that exists in this planet, be it a chair, an industry, came from a thought of a human being. We are creators. And this is something to own back to us, to own our lives, to be the creators of our lives. The ultimate creators with the ultimate power and the ultimate responsibility. Creators divine. Fifth quality, self-love, self-worth, self-compassion. We start on a path of growth, of fulfillment, because we love ourselves so much, because we want more for us. We don't want the suffering. We know we can have a better life, and so we go for it. We trust ourselves, we believe ourselves, we know we are worthy of it. Self-love is the core of our life and living the life of our dreams. That is why we even try it and put any effort in it. That's why we don't give up, because we love ourselves and we love ourselves so much. As divine beings, and for instance, you being a divine being, it also means that nothing should stand above your divinity. Now I ask you, what are you putting on a pedestal in your life? Is it money? Is it a job? Is it your spouse, somebody that you have put on the pedestal above you, that you depend on for your joy? Joy is part of this component, because your joy comes from within you and it shouldn't depend on anything. Your divinity doesn't depend on anything. And the moment that you make something bigger than you, your divinity falls. That is because of the previous quality we talked about, creator, creatrix. If we have money, it's because we create that into our lives. We're the creators of our lives. We create new things all the time. We bring them to us. We can create and we can destroy. We can create and destroy relationships. We can create and destroy love. We can create all sorts of things. And because of that, we should never put on a pedestal things above us, because we can always create. And if we're putting something on top of us, we're saying that this thing is the creator and not us. And then we're reducing our self-love, our ability to create from within, an ability to create our life overall. Self-love, self-worth. Now, this doesn't mean that we are above anybody, because everyone is divine. We're all divine. And this is about mutual respect. Nothing is above or under. We're all divine and we all are creators and we all have power in our lives. Self-love within each one of us. That is what is carrying ourselves to create a better life for ourselves. The more self-love we have, the more divine we get to live. Facet number 6, know thyself. To be divine, to embody this divinity, you have to know yourself. Because this is where this divinity originates from. It is intrinsic in you. But if we are disconnected from ourselves, if we don't know who we are, even we maybe pretend to be divinely, but we are acting out of thoughts and mental constructs and trying and pursuing to be something instead of simply being. The more you know yourself, the more you connect with your intrinsic divinity, and then you get to just be divine. Live your purpose is the 7th quality here. Now, purpose and knowing yourself, I actually not separated things, because to know your purpose, to really know it anchored in you, all you need to know is to know yourself, because your purpose is an expression of who you are. It's not separated. The more you are rooted in yourself and know yourself, the more your purpose is just clear. Clarity comes from knowing yourself more, not giving in to outside demands, external demands and expectations of others or beliefs or social constructs. Knowing yourself reveals what is inside of you. Divine. Gratitude is point 8. Gratitude for everything. For being alive, for being here today, for your health, for what you had to eat today, for the people working in the supermarket so that you could get there and just buy food, for anybody who prepared your food yesterday, for your home, for your family, for everybody who has supported you and supported you to be where you are today. There's so many reasons to be grateful for. And when we are not grateful, when we are being ungrateful in life, we also become bitter. We also become disconnected and we lose a drop of our own connection and joy there. Gratitude is essential for us to be connected and for us to be joyful and recognizing what a huge gift we have here. It is by being grateful that we amplify love even more in our lives and in this world. So, divine. The last point, point number 9, facet number 9 is no hustling. Life is not a struggle. I know it can feel quite the opposite often, but here's the thing. No struggling does not mean in any way, shape or form that it will be easy. Easy is one thing, struggling is another, and a challenge is yet another thing. Life is challenging, and it should be by design, because it is through challenges that we grow. When we are uncomfortable with something, that is where we're a little bit scared, we're avoiding something that we should look at. Life is challenging, and challenges help us to grow, but that does not mean hustling. That does not mean struggling. That does not mean pushing things through. When we are in the state of struggling, of hustling, we're highly disconnected. It is like us against the world. The more we connect through all the other 8 facets that have been brought here, the more we align ourselves with divine will. The more we can see through the challenges, we understand the obstacles and what we have to do to overcome them. Now, that doesn't mean it is easy, but it's very different from struggling. It's very different from feeling alone and disconnected and being us against the universe. That is struggle. Life is not a struggle. Life is divine when we are connected. Divine. All of this that I'm saying can sound like very high stakes. Lots and lots of stuff to figure out and develop. And they only are high stakes because in a way we're so misaligned with our essence. We're so out of touch with our divinity. The more we get to connect back and realign, the more all these facets, they start coming back into place naturally. They're not necessarily divided aspects. And it's not like, okay, now I know my divinity, everything is gonna just fall into place. Well, we do need some practice, but still, they are a part of a whole. As I see, this is of course my own perspective. And remember here, when we talk about a flower is the leaves, the stalk, the roots, everything together forms the flower. And every single cell of it separately is also the flower. We only separate, like petals and stuff to study, to analyze, to talk about it. But that doesn't make the different parts the reality. The reality is everything together, and every single cell of it are the same almost in a way. So think about that as well. It's not that supposed to be overwhelming. We're just breaking into pieces to look at it, study, understand better. And now we can take a step back and just appreciate divinity on its own and connect with our own essence and our own divinity, because that is how I see the real work of spiritual growth and self-fulfillment. We sometimes are so addicted to healing. There are so many things that seem to be breaking and we have to take care of. And at the same time, I do see that the ultimate healing is to recognize ourselves as divine and embody our divinity. This brings us back into ourselves, making this space to anchor divinity within us, letting more of us to come through, letting go of what we are not, letting go of the mental models and the fears, and so our intrinsic divinity, the spark of life within us, can simply shine through. I am Elendra. I am a spiritual guide, healer, writer, facilitator, and if you would like to go deeper into this topic, I invite you to download my free ebook, What is Spiritual Growth? You'll find the link below this video. This is a topic I'm super passionate about. I hope you have enjoyed this talk and it has brought a few insights for you in your life, in your own journey. And thank you for listening to me.